Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, of course, along with head coach Steve Jennings. Coach, thanks again for coming on the show, and I know you're a busy guy. A weekend there in Austin. Friday night, let's start there. Kind of a slow start, maybe a little lackluster when it came to the energy to start with. Give up an early goal, a kind of a fluky bounce, but then you guys, battled back in a stronger second, a really good third, really. End up pulling a point out, getting the overtime, or falling in overtime. But I guess the bright side is that you do end up with that 1 point from pushing it to overtime. Thoughts on Friday's game? Yeah,
I think certainly we had the chance to take the win even in the overtime with a brief power play there, and so that bit us. But I thought the pushback from the group and sticking with it, and I think that's one of the things we've talked about this, right? Like when we give up a goal that maybe the kids don't like, or we have an event like that, I think what the younger guys here in the room are learning to deal with is that adversity and pushing through that, right? So I thought the refusal to just kind of let it get away from us was really good on Friday, and I was happy with that.
Yeah. Get a power play goal on Friday night and killed 6 of 7. I mean, they had 7 opportunities on the power play, so the PK was busy. Pretty happy with the way things looked special teams wise.
Yeah, I thought we had to make some adjustments to it in game, and I thought our guys actually did a good job answering with it. And I think the one power play goal we gave up was one that I think we'd all like to have back. We managed to get the puck out into the area where we want it. It just is what it is. Like when actually I'm confusing that with Saturday night's rush goal. But the power play, we're gonna have those things. So the overtime one, when you're in a 4-on-3, it's tough. But like I said, we had that same opportunity, right? They managed to rotate the puck to the guy they wanted to shoot and be a good shot and beat us clean. But otherwise, I thought our kill, although busy, was pretty effective. And it was frustrating them. You could hear it on the bench. You could hear it on the ice. They were getting frustrated that even when they did manage to get shots, they weren't getting the results they wanted. So that's the good part of the power play and the penalty kill, right? When we're shutting down somebody else's power play and causing them to talk to each other, that's kind of gives us a double whammy leg, right? Yep. So we're getting the result we want, but we're also getting into their heads.
Good sign. Moving on to Saturday, a 5-2 loss there. You outshot them, outplayed the Bruins in almost every category. Ran into a hot goaltender, and he made some big saves at big times, and he made it difficult to get on the scoreboard as often as you would have needed. But I think a better start, and I think the overall energy was a pretty well-played game Saturday.
Yeah, it was pretty well contested, right, both ways. It was that's the division, right? So it's us playing the first place team in the division, and that's how tight the division is, right? It's that close. I think I thought the guys, they started harder, and I thought we got the result there. The goal that gets called back, it takes a little bit of wind out of our sail, but they push back too late. In the third, we were getting shots, and we just, when a goalie's like that, the answer is you just got to keep pouring it on. And I thought the guys, continue to build through that, but we have to be stronger and push harder, when we get that. And I think we left a little on the table in terms of when we had that goal called back. What we really need to do is go right back and score again. And it took us a little too long to get back to that point.
Well, I wanted to ask, if you don't mind, if there was any explanation, because the goal lamp was lit. The referee is adamantly signaling that it's a good goal. He comes to the official scorer down below, or the scoreboard operator and stuff, and I can read his lips and hear him say, I saw it, I saw it. Like, he had a good vision of it, called it a goal, and then suddenly it's not. How does that work?
Have no idea.
Okay.
And I don't have an explanation. I asked for an explanation, and all I get told was it's not a goal. So, it's an issue that I'll take up with the director of officials here and try to find out something there. But, I can't explain why it wasn't a goal. He was adamant about it being in, like you said. But, hey, it is, this is hockey. Yeah. And sometimes the gods give and sometimes they take, and they took. But, that was proof that we could solve that, kid, and we need to, take that as a positive sign in the room here, and the guys need to push harder on that, right? Okay, we've got to him. Let's go get to him again. Like, we take away the first one, we'll get a second one.
Absolutely. All right. What does practice look like today? What is the message to the team? Do you address them at all after, well, losing 4 straight, after having won 4 straight? Is there maybe some focus that you're working with them on or something to that effect?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there is. So we had a skate today. We had about a 45-minute skate, but it was a pretty intense skate, and that's the thing with the guys, right? Like if we had won Saturday night, we could have been in second place.
Yep.
Right, and that's how tight the division is, and those are the opportunities that we cannot afford to give up, and that was our whole talk here, right? Is that we have to push through, and to a man, everyone, whatever your position is, everyone's got to perform. And perform together, right? And that's the reality of it. And we have 24 games left in the season. We have plenty of time, but we're also running out of time, right? Mm-hmm. It's a double-edged sword, and that's what we talk about all the time, right? Is we started to push. We rip off 4 in a row to get the second half started, and now we're 4-4 in our last 8, and that's just not what we need to be. So 5-5 in our last 10, right? It's just not what we are. We're a better team, and at that result, I told them, like, we need to perform better. So I think our leadership group understands it and feels it. We had a talk separate from the rest of the team with the leadership group this morning. And the message is out there. It's just what we're going to do with the message, right? That's the important part, and this is the frustrating part when you're dealing with kids. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, that's the nature of junior hockey for sure. Austin right now in first place with 47 points. Minot in second with 41. North Iowa in third with 39. Wings with 39 points as well, but one less game played by North Iowa, so the win percentage goes in their favor. And St. Cloud with 37 points and Bismarck with 29. They are improving. St. Cloud's got a whole bunch of games, I think 6 games in hand on Minot, for example. So there's a lot that's going to get shifted around here as we continue on with this season. You've got North Iowa coming into town on Friday and Saturday. Obviously, we've talked about defending the Odie and the pride there, but also North Iowa presents some different challenges. Well, each team presents its own kinds of challenges. But what do you feel like you've got to do against the Bulls?
I think we demonstrated what we needed to do a couple weeks ago when we were down in Mason City, and I think we need to be a little bit sharper on our end to not give up some of the chances that they were able to capitalize on. But if you remember, that was a high-scoring affair that whole weekend, and they just had a pretty high-scoring affair this weekend here, right? So that's a team with offensive power, and they're not afraid to flex it. And a 9-8 win is a 9-8 win for them, right? So I think we need to make sure that we limit their opportunities to capitalize on fast break opportunities, and because that is a key part of their offense, and they do a good job with it. And I think we've learned how to manage it. It always makes it interesting on those times when we're asleep at the switch or still trying to think about a different team with a different structure as we go into that game. So we've already started to talk about that with the guys as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, once again, I appreciate you coming on and giving us some of your time here and your thoughts. Best of luck against the Bulls. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
All right, folks, that will conclude the first portion of Wings Weekly. A player will join me coming up after this.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and burgers. There's more where this came from. To the greatest of all time.
We continue on with Wings Weekly, and as usual, a player is joining me. This time it's Parks Wallace of Nashville, Tennessee. Parks, thanks for taking some time to join us on the show here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, you bet. Well, some of these questions are pretty standard. I ask kind of everybody because people want to know, how'd you get started in hockey? When was the first time you put skates on? Was there somebody that maybe influenced you, like an older brother or a parent or somebody that played? How did all this journey get started for you?
Yeah, so obviously growing up in Nashville, it's not the most popular thing.
Right.
And my mom was the team dentist for the Nashville Predators, and they started taking me to games when I was 4 or 5 months old. So from there, that's kind of all I knew, and that's all I wanted to do. And then I started skating when I was like 4 years old, and it's all I've ever known.
Very cool. Now that one I did not expect.
Yeah.
Your mom was the team dentist for the Nashville Predators. That is cool. So you got some connections there.
Yeah.
And you most recently played with the Junior Predators. Was Coach Jennings, obviously, we know he was a coach there, so you had a relationship with him and kind of knew, well, probably not kind of knew him pretty well coming here. Does that give you a bit of an advantage, do you think?
I definitely say so. Just being from Nashville and having him just be my coach and come in every day and just learn his style and how he, and coming here, it made things a lot smoother and,
sure.
Felt like home. So very thankful for that.
Yeah, I can see where, just like you said, coaches do have different styles. Some of them are a little more stern. Some of them are a little tighter ship than others, whatever it might be. So you didn't have those questions in your mind coming into the locker room, so that's kind of cool. All right, defenseman, when did you first start playing defense kind of exclusively? I mean, usually when you're younger, they move people around and do different things. When did you start to kind of focus on defense?
I'd say I kind of grew up playing forward, obviously, because pretty much everyone's playing different positions, like you said. Mm-hmm. But I'd say when I was around probably 10 years old or 11 years old, they started really putting me on defense, and I was obviously, a good skater at that time, so it helped out. But that's kind of where I've always been. I've always played D, and it's fun. So,
well, that actually translates nicely into my next question. What's your favorite part of playing defense?
I'd say just defensively shutting down teams.
Yeah.
And also
kind of like knowing you're the last line
exactly,
between them and the goaltender.
Exactly. And you almost feel like the quarterback in football, where you get to control things and make plays.
Sure.
So I like that.
Very cool. Well, and it's funny because we're talking about playing D. In North Iowa, you actually, because of some injuries and suspension and so on, you had to go to and play left wing one night, right wing the next.
Yeah.
How were you nervous? I mean, how is that when you've been playing defense for so long? You're like, okay, now you get thrown into the fire, kind of.
Yeah. When he told me I was playing forward that weekend, I was, I almost kind of chuckled about it because it's not something I've done since I was 10 years old.
Right.
But I just told myself to just go out there and have fun. There's no pressure on anything. So, and I did. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I got to kind of see, expand my game a little bit and see what the forwards in the room deal with, and it helped me as a defenseman, having the mindset of like what they're doing and where they're going to be and stuff like that. So.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, never really thought of that. It could be kind of a learning experience too. I just was thinking about knowing where to go and what plays are they're calling off the face-off and all of that would be like, okay, just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Do you have anybody in the pros, for example, like you mentioned, you're a big Nashville Predators fan. Is there anybody playing, or maybe that was playing, that you kind of modeled your game after?
I'd say Roman Josi. Yeah. I love watching him. He's obviously on the Nashville Predators, and he's just a great player, and I sort of try to model my game after him. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, we talked about coming into the locker room and having known Coach Jennings, how that makes it easier. What were your first impressions of Aberdeen as a whole? I mean, obviously it's a whole lot different from Nashville.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously a lot smaller, but I mean, it's a good thing because it's a very tight-knit community, and the people here are unbelievable. My billets are amazing, and pretty much everywhere you go, everyone supports you. So there's nothing like it, and people know who you are.
Yeah. Yep. They definitely support the team, that's for sure. I've heard from many people that Nashville should be on everybody's bucket list. They say that it's an incredible community, and with a lot of fun nightlife stuff and a lot of history, of course, from the musical side and so on too. So that is a place I want to visit one of these days. Okay, so I came across this video that's floating around on the Ticker Talk.
Yes.
And the question that was being asked to all of the players was, who on the team would you allow to date your daughter? And about 85% of the team said Parks Wallace.
Yeah.
Why do you suppose that is?
I don't know. They kind of, I think one guy said it and they just kind of rolled with it, but they were all saying that, you're too nice of a guy, you're too good of a guy, I would never worry about my daughter with you. So I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah,
I like it.
It is a compliment. I love that at the end of that, Nielsen says, I wouldn't let any of you animals date my daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty funny. I like those. All right, a couple other goofy questions here for you. Well, actually, before we get to those, I wanted to ask what you've got out of hockey. What is something that hockey has given you when you've given so much to it? When we're talking about time and effort and energy and all of these things, heck, even money, everything that you pour into this sport, what has it given back to you?
I mean, it's taught me everything in life. Like, lessons-wise, I credit everything to hockey, and learning how to be on a team, learning your role, and like how to support each other and support people in real life. You know, when you see someone down, you help them up, and you all those different types of lessons have all played into me,
sure,
you know, playing hockey. So I'm very thankful for that.
Excellent. Great answer there. All right, now the goofy questions. Would you rather lose vision or lose hearing? If you had to lose one of them, what would it be?
I'd say lose hearing. I'd say that because you got to have vision. I want to see everything you get to see, you know, just in life. You get to see a lot of cool things, and I'd sacrifice that over, you know, hearing songs or stuff like that. So
there's so many great, it's like, I love music, so that,
yeah,
I would really struggle with
it's a tough one, but.
How about, would you rather have the ability to speak to animals and communicate with animals, or the ability to fluently speak every language in the world?
I'd go with the animals one, because I think it's just like, I'd be the only person in the world that can talk to an animal. Like, that's pretty. Yeah.
And you know, there's translators and stuff for other languages.
Exactly.
But there isn't
yeah.
for animals. So
yeah, exactly.
That's a great answer. I love that one too. All right. Another question here. Would you rather win the lottery of, say, $100 million, or live twice as long as you would have? Or so double your lifespan, or win $100 million?
I'd go with the $100 million. That way, you don't have to worry about anything. You just live your life. You know, go buy a beach house.
Yeah. Live
on the ocean front, not have a care in the world.
Even though your life wouldn't be twice as long,
yeah,
the life that you did have would be that much better, right?
Exactly.
So, okay. Well, all right. I talked with Coach just a moment ago about North Iowa. Coming up, you guys swept them down in Mason City. They come up here to the ODI Center. And, of course, this team for years and years and years has taken a lot of pride in defending the OD and playing strong for this crowd. What do you feel like as a team that you've got to do to ensure more success against the Bolts, who you're 5-1 on the season against? And you've had some success against them. How do you keep that rolling?
I'd say just, you know, we've been through a rough patch here as of recent, and I think we just have to get back to playing our game and playing consistent. And with the team coming in like this, it gives us confidence, because you set our record against them, and we have a lot of confidence against these guys, and we get to play at home. So I think we just got to come out and just, you know, really start turning the tide here and get it going.
You know, and Coach Jennings mentioned that this is a team that scores a lot of goals, and they're not afraid to take chances. And Friday night in Bismarck, it was 9-7. I mean, they score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
As a defenseman, is that something that you consider before going into it? Because you know that you might be able to turn them over. They will take some chances, but they can burn you too.
100%. And when you go into games like that, you can't think of like the amount of goals that they're going to put up or we're going to put up. You just got to go into it and take it a shift at a time. And a team like that, you shut them down, and obviously they're not going to be able to do anything, because they want to get in the shootouts with you and you know, make the score 9-7 like you said. So
I imagine that would frustrate a team too that's used to scoring goals like that, when you can shut them down defensively. So all right, well, hey, I really appreciate you coming on again and getting the Wings fans a chance to kind of get to know you as a person a little bit, and how you got started in this journey of hockey. So again, thanks for joining me.
Of course.
Well, boys are back home this weekend at the ODI Center as we host the North Iowa Bulls. Doors open at 5:30 on both nights, and the puck hits the ice at 7:15. Friday, it's Free Kids Friday at the ODI Center. Kids will receive a free ticket to Friday's game with the purchase of an adult ticket at the door. Stay in your seats during the first intermission as we hand over our check from our last jersey auction to the DTOM Veterans Ranch. Saturday, we're celebrating College Night. College students can show their valid student ID at the door to get $5 off general admission. We welcome Dakota Fluid Power as the game's corporate sponsor inside the Automax Party Deck. And watch the Aberdeen Cougar Mites scrimmage during the first intermission. Plus, join the team for a post-game party at Buffalo Wings and Rings following Saturday's game. Get your tickets ahead of the weekend's games online at tickets.aberdeenwings.com or at the door on game night. You can also get $10 general admission tickets at any Sea Express location in Aberdeen with additional purchase. A few corporate night sponsorships are available in 2022. Call Aaron at 380-5852 to see what's open. Don't forget, Wings Weekly is now a podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and now on TikTok, where we've learned that Parks Wallace is almost unanimously the person that this team would have date their daughter.
There you go.
Once again, Parks Wallace, Nashville, Tennessee, thanks so much for joining us on Wings
Thank
Weekly.
you so much.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this week's edition of Wings Weekly.